All right, here we go. Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Rosopf, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. I am very excited to have the privilege of introducing a new guest to our show. I've just been speaking with her a bit beforehand here, and I am excited to have a chance to continue this conversation. Her name is Elaine Feigenbaum, and she has been the president of Education Relief, Inc. since 2004. And as a single mom of a 15-year-old daughter with an individualized education program, or IEP, for executive functioning deficits, ADHD, and social anxiety, Elaine possesses a deep understanding of the challenges faced by families of children with unique needs. With over 2 decades of experience as an independent contractor in special education, Elaine has demonstrated exceptional versatility and expertise. She has served as an early intervention provider, diverse abilities educator for preschool and school-age children, advocate, parent trainer, teacher consultant, evaluator, and neurodiversity networking professional. Elaine's mission to stomp out bullying. She is a passionate advocate for implementing a mandatory bullying curriculum in preschools, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, both nationally and globally. I am so pleased to have you joining us here tonight, Elaine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So happy to have you joining us. So tell us a bit more about how, actually, I'm trying to think where to begin because there's so many good pieces here. So just tell me a little bit more about you. I know we had the introduction here, but tell me who you are and why you do what you do.
Well, I'm an educator, and obviously I'm a mom of a 15-year-old who has struggled with social anxiety and depression. Most recently, I was able to secure an IEP for her, and she is now in an alternative high school setting and thriving there. Over the summer right now, she's a counselor in training, so she's working with a group of small, young boys, like 2, 3, 4-year-old boys, and it is thriving as well. I'm getting wonderful feedback from the directors and from the camp saying that she's just doing phenomenally, like just really thriving with the other counselors and just the boys just love her, and she's just really doing very well right now, and I'm just very proud of her. So
that is awesome.
Shout out to my daughter because I'm so proud of her.
Excellent. And I'm excited to dig in deeper in what you all bring to the table here. I do have a couple other guests joining us. I want to go ahead and bring them in so that they can be part of this conversation throughout the show here. So Alan Holmes is a great friend of the show. He has been with us quite a bit here in the recent weeks, and I'm so pleased to have you here joining us again tonight, Alan. Welcome. How are you tonight?
I'll be better when I find this unmute button. Good afternoon, good evening. Nice to meet you, Elaine. I heard your story a little bit. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And Alan is the master connector. So he is so good at bringing people together and connecting needs. He really does know how to connect the dots, and we appreciate that so much.
Very nice to meet you, Alan.
Nice to meet you, Elaine. And thank you so much for doing what you do. I kind of heard a little bit, started looking to learn more because I was actually a summer counselor when I was about 15. I was at a church camp. People knew that, that I love, the children. They say, got a lot of, I'm big on, don't have any children of my own, but I think children are the most precious individuals that they teach us as adults and make humble us. And, when they have an ability or disability, the world of ability, it causes all of us to just step back and just be humbled and just learn from them and just be soaked in a sponge. It's just an amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, and Elaine, I know that you first connected with Kurt and Emily through the Helpopedia group. So tell us a little bit about what your connection is with Helpopedia.
Well, I was brought in as first as just a guest, and I really found myself real kind of bonding, I guess, with everyone in the group, and I decided to become one of the members, and I am one of the special needs chapter leaders. There are a couple of different chapters within Helpopedia, so I kind of work on, I'm not the one, but there's a couple of us that kind of work together as the special needs chapter leaders, and we're right now over the summer we're meeting once a week. We were meeting every other week, and now it's once a week. And we're just seeing if there's anything that we can do within our communities, because I'm in New York, but there are people in Pennsylvania, there are people in Canada, we're all over the place right now. And obviously Wisconsin, where you are. And we're just seeing what we can do for our community to improve relations, whether it's through the school districts and things like that. And if there's anything that we can do to help, kind of fast-paced certain things with the students and helping them to thrive. And I know that they also have internships and things like that they're providing. So there's a lot of momentum going on really through Helpopedia.
Excellent. Well, and I know we had spoke before the show a bit about the whole topic of bullying. Do you want to tell us some about what you do with regards to that? Because that's a big problem.
It is. I myself was bullied growing up, and like I said, my daughter, who's now 15, was also bullied. It's always been, since I was a very little girl, something that I wanted to address in a more global manner. I've been writing curriculum for different age groups. So I have curriculum for like 2 to 5 year olds, because that's the age group that I've been mostly working with for the last 30 years. But I've also wrote some curriculum for 6 to 11 year olds. So that's like elementary, middle school, and then 12 to 18 year olds. So I have different lesson plans that I've been working on. I shared them actually with Helpopedia, and they're giving me the thumbs up with it. I'm hoping, that come September, I am going to be set up with a editor and publisher, and we can see if we can get them out there to the school districts and other non-for-profit organizations. So, I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been writing curriculum for a very, very long time. I'm very big proponent of having like integrated classrooms starting from a very early age. I've written an entire like day in the life of preschoolers, so they can thrive as well. I would be pairing a neurodiverse with a typical developing child, throughout the day, and following them from preschool through high school, really, or through 20, or even through college. That's my goal, is to, because I wanted to show the benefits of having these integrated classrooms from a very early age.
bullying is something that I'm surprised at how, I mean, actually, we have a daughter that's 15 as well. So I know stories I've heard that she has shared with, surprisingly starting out at a surprisingly young age where bullying happens. And I know a lot of it is kids just learning, right? They're figuring life out. They're trying to, I don't always know what motivates that being a thing that's so prevalent, but it's there. And whether you're the one doing the bullying or being bullied, that has a massive effect on kids and how it shapes them as they're growing, and that's a lot to deal with.
Definitely, definitely. It's something that, like I said, I experienced it myself growing up. My daughter has, now being 15. And they're just, a lot of school districts I know in my area are saying there's a zero tolerance for bullying, and yet they're really not equipped to address these types of things. I mean, I filled out DOSs before and in hopes that something was going to get done, and very very little is done through the school district. So
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually kind of proud of our school district, even with knowing that that's been happening here locally. I know they do put in a lot of effort to talk to the kids and to have sessions and have some kind of conversations around it to hopefully help change that a bit. I'm actually going to just pause for a moment. We do have two more friends that are joining us here, and I want to make sure to get them into this conversation as well. So Debbie Miller is a longtime friend, and I'm so glad to have her joining us here tonight. Debbie, why don't you come on in and give a quick introduction, and please join the conversation.
Thank you so much. I am Debbie Miller with Prepaid Legal Services, Inc. Here in North America, we can help with attorneys in all 50 states and most of Canada to have access to affordable legal help where you're at, and identity protection. So it's a great help, and affordable. When it's affordable, then it's actually usable, in my opinion. My son and his family had to actually use our attorneys for a bullying situation for their child at school as well. And he was probably 9 or 10 at the time. So yeah. And I guess I was shocked that because there was a smaller city school, but still it happened. And I was thankful that our attorneys were able to handle it quite well. But that also brings that in, one of the things with our attorneys, they actually wrote a letter to not just the teacher or the person, not just the family that were doing the bullying, but the teacher was notified. I believe even the nurse at the school where he's at, but also the whole entourage of the people above the superintendents and all of those guys got a letter individually for the situation. And so it was kind of shocking what all had to happen. So it was a big issue, and thankfully for our case, it was handled well.
Excellent. Glad to hear that.
yeah,
and we do have Christian joining us here as well. So Christian, I want to give you a chance to say hello and join on in here as well. So how are you doing tonight?
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me. Absolutely. AbilityMKE Now. Thank you so much, Sue. Glad to see Debbie. Glad to see Alan. Nice to meet you, Elaine. Definitely have a heart for children. Really brief. Been married for 23 years. Without kids for 12. Without kids for 11 and 12 years with. So when I say I have a heart for children, not only my own journey, but my mom was a foster parent. We've seen and been active in the foster families in San Diego, childcare and educational. So it's also saddening and maddening at the same time. Our child, both of my oldest have gone through a similar bullying situation, and it is something that was very well supported by the principal, and so it does have to do. I say, and I heard the curriculums that you're writing. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in and say, write curriculum for parents. The accountability has to be with the parent. If the parent is not present and is not supporting what the teacher says, you're going to end up with a child like myself. The reason I say myself is in 5th grade, I was given detention every day of the year. Not because I misbehaved, because my teacher understood that my situation at home was not being supported. So she said, I'm going to remove you from your house for an extra hour so you can sit in my class and do your homework. Because again, the parent was not present. So fast forward to mine and this situation that happened. She communicated. We asked her to speak. We asked her to put a stop. We asked her, our child, empower her to deal with bullies, because we knew that it wasn't going to be the first time. We know it's not going to be the last in a perfect world. But I go back to, and when that parent on the opposite end was spoken to, oh, they're just kids, all this, and it's again, you talked about it, how it impacts children and how we as adults, I will put myself again, my name in the hat. If I would have grown up with more confidence, with a little bit more pep in my step, or with a little bit more care, that would have maybe prepared me better for this vicious world. And now in 2024, it is a whole different world than what we grew up in. So absolutely encouraging and supporting your work, Elaine. And we definitely put that out there, that you get some a team behind you to publish. But there are some things and resources that I love when I help nonprofits to start making sure that you get your I's dotted and your T's crossed, so that when anybody has an interest, I always tell them, I'm interested in supporting you. And I reach out to them and I get crickets and I get what they're selling. And listen, no. We forgot. I just asked for information because I want to support you. And if you don't have those basics, then don't forget me. I'm going to chase you till you give me the info. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna support you. Like I said, you got a cheerleader here. But other people will not. Other people are busy in their lives and they're busy with what they're doing. So just encouraging and definitely supportive. And it is a great topic to speak about. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Christian. I love your perspective. So Elaine, when you hear about bullying happening in schools, what approach do you take with that? Where do you start?
I mean, every situation is different, and I guess, individually, people handle it. The children handle it different, the parents handle it differently. So you don't know. I mean, I do have like this handbook for parents and educators, to help with the whole learning, what to look for when your child is the bully or your child is being bullied, kind of thing. So there is that I have that in the back burner, but it's not really in the back burner. It's just another layer of things that I've been wearing with many, many different hats these days. So it's there, but every situation is a little bit different, and because we handle things differently, whether it's the parents or the children, it depends, and it depends on how proactive you're going to be for your child, or how proactive the child's going to be for themselves. So it's a matter of really knowing, what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with when it comes to the bullying and the support that you get through your school districts and whatnot. Because I mean, it's different. It's different across New York and Long Island, where I am, and I'm sure it's different, in Wisconsin, and every school district is different, and there are strengths and weaknesses and all of us, and it's just a matter of finding our place, finding where where we kind of fit in and how to approach these different situations, because it's not always easy, and there's no handbook. There's no handbook for dealing with it, and that's why I'm trying to come up with. But it's not something I can do on my own. It's something that I would like a collaborative effort. And I'm not a non-for-profit. I'm just someone who's trying to, I'm working with non-for-profits, but I'm not a non-for-profit myself. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I know Christian was saying, I'm not a non-for-profit at the moment. So.
Oh, good. And so I know with the different layers of all that, you usually have worked, you said, mostly with the younger kids. What kind of differences do you see between the different ages as how you are approaching this? How easy is it or difficult is it to connect with those younger ones? Like, I think you said age like 2 to 5 versus the 6 to 11s. How do you do that? It's a big difference, right? Depending on how old they are and what they.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of modeling. It's a lot of, showing them, that, like, if there's like an instance between two children, it's, like, it's just kind of getting them to maybe separate and getting them to take some deep breaths and, and model, that how to share and, it's my turn, it's your turn. And then it's okay. And it's okay if you're upset. It's not easy to share. Because a lot of times that's when a lot of the bullying would take place, is when they want that thing. I'm working with a student right now, and I know for a fact that he does not like to share anything. And it's very difficult. And it's just a matter of finding the right words to get them to understand. And when they have these meltdowns, it's, kind of picking them up, but you don't want to bring too much attention to it either. Like you don't, because then they think that if every time they do that, then they're gonna get some kind of attention, because they could be doing it for attention seeking. Sometimes they're doing it for other reasons as well, but you don't want to always play into those types of scenarios with them. If you know what if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's part of, you got a little bit of a detective hat that you need to wear too, to figure out, which way to, because every situation is going to be unique based on who the players are and what's that situation. And yeah, to navigate all that, that's a challenge.
It is. Like I said, that's why I'm trying to get them when they're as young as possible, so that they can learn and hopefully remember these things and have these tools as they go, into kindergarten and elementary school, and have, so that they're better prepared. That's really my objective here is to just have them, better prepared, better equipped, have the parents to be more equipped to deal with things like that, and hopefully that will begin some kind of movement, towards something better and brighter for a lot of people who have been bullied or do the bullying.
Do you have any particular piece of advice you maybe could give to parents as to what they can do to help their kiddos out?
Well, the best thing I can say is, if they're being bullied, let them know it's not them. And a lot of times kids bully, because either they maybe see some kind of, like, they're having a model of some sort where they're feeling like to get their point across, they have to somehow assert themselves a little bit more, or the one who's being bullied, like they just are just a much more passive type of child, where they'll just kind of and pull back because they don't really know how to assert themselves. So either way, it's tough. It's not always easy to help the children to understand, because if they're not getting the supports at home, like you were saying, like it's all about the parents, then it's very difficult for the children to learn these skills. And it's skills. It's learning patience. It's learning tolerance. It's learning, we're different, and not everybody is, is going to give me whatever I want when I want it at that moment, because that's a lot of kids today. They're like, they want it and they want it now, and they can't wait, and it's not easy for these kids to really get what they need, because you can't give in to them all the time, and you can't you have to pick and choose your battles, I guess, is what what really comes down to. It's not always easy, but if you know your kid and their strengths, and you play to their strengths, you just, that's really what you need to do, is play to their strengths, and hopefully they'll somehow just have just learn those skills, modeling those skills at home also, and making sure you have open communication about things is just very, very important, I think, within families. And I know even with my daughter, we have a very, very good relationship, because there's always open communication, and she knows that she can talk to me about anything. And I'm very supportive of her with whatever she is doing. And I just think that that's really what it comes down to, is the children need to have those open lines of communication, whether they're little or a little bit older. It's very important, I believe. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's a huge piece, being able to have that open communication and know that you have that trust and the support that really makes that can make such a difference. I just want to check in and see if anybody had any questions they wanted to ask Elaine. I know we're getting towards the end here, but did anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask?
I saw Christian with his hand up.
Yeah, Christian, go ahead.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed recently is a lot of, and I know it's definitely in middle school, that my oldest just started last year. This is her second year in 7th grade now. It's definitely different, Elaine. When they go from elementary, and she was taught like the 7 habits of happy kids. It's available on Amazon, by the way. That's what the school teaches, and super supportive of that. I use it in my daily life. That's how good it is. But I remind my daughter of that every day, and in open communication. But what would you say to people that say you don't want to be that parent that does too much, because then the kids in middle school or high school, they'll take it out on them? Or what would you say? What's your take on that? Don't make it worse, or don't just watch out how you do it, because you can make it worse. What's your take on that?
Me? Well, not everybody really needs to know the support that you're giving, your own child. I know that, it can be perceived by other children that maybe mommy or daddy are, kind of pulling the strings in the background kind of thing. But, you have to do what's best for your child, and ultimately, and your child best. And it doesn't really matter what other people are thinking and saying ultimately, because, at the end of the day, these are just the years that they're going through, in middle school and high school. And,
I just want to take a chance to say thank you so much, Elaine, Debbie, Alan, and Christian. As always, we thank you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry, we had to cut right at the at 7:59 there. So you guys are awesome. And